Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Mile High Game Guys board gaming podcast. I'm your host, Adrian.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Jeff.
All right. Well, as you may have noticed, dear listener, we took a
week off.
It's going to feel like we took 2 weeks off.
I don't know
but
what you're
really,
talking
we only took a week
Yeah.
off. So last episode, you might have been like
Special episode.
waiting for that one, like, holy shit, where are these guys? And then that episode came out, and then hopefully this one won't be 2 weeks from that. But
One would hope, yeah.
point is we took a week off in between when we recorded last episode and when we recorded this episode. So 269 and 270, there was a 1 week gap between, even though there was a 2 to 3 week gap between 268 and 269.
You went to Dallas.
I went to Dallas for equipment cert. But we're back now, and we're in studio
And
still.
you didn't
so.
upload the episode files before you left.
I don't know what happened with that. Everything was open, like I had done that, and Dropbox was open, like everything was good. So either one of two things happened. Either I forgot to actually hit go on it when we were leaving at the end of that one, or Zach maliciously deleted the files 2 weeks ago.
To spite
So
not
that he'd be like,
have to do
there's
it.
no episodes here, Adrian, now that you're back and home. There's just no episodes. Who could say what happened?
That definitely sounds like something I would do.
Yeah, well, you know.
These files were never here.
Never here.
I mean, it seems equally likely that it's that or that I forgot to hit start.
Mm-hmm.
Both
of those have happened multiple times.
Yes.
Individually.
Correct. But yeah, so that's why this one was late. I was in Dallas and there was not files available for Zach to actually edit.
Yep.
But we're back and we're gonna do a board gaming thing. So let's talk about board games. Jeff, do you want to start?
Sure. I went to the game night at Westfax.
We also technically have Strange, if there's anything that you remember from that game night that we have also not talked about.
Boy, was this the Strange one was before Aunt and Julie got married.
Correct.
So I played Matryoshka, 3-player, with 2 new players.
How was it at 3 players?
It was fine.
Okay.
Totally fine. It was good.
Okay.
And I played with my fancy set and not the
Nice.
garbage other set. That's unplayable compared to the other set.
100%, yeah.
Yeah. And I think I didn't play any other games besides that at Strange, because then Aunt and Julie and the wedding party showed up and we're just hanging out. So
Yeah. Okay.
So we just kind of hung out and had some beers. I don't think I played anything else that night.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just giving it as a casual reminder that night has
Yes.
technically not been talked about on air.
And then we had Westfax, which I was at later that day. There wasn't many people there. It was only 14, 16 people.
Yeah.
It was also game 1 of Hockey Time.
Game 1 of Stanley Cup playoffs that the Denver, Colorado Avalanche are involved in.
Which is
the
also
Denver-based Colorado
Which is also
Avalanche.
literally happening as we speak.
I know. I'm a little sad to be missing it.
It's 1-1.
Uh-oh.
And then I played more Matryoshka because everyone was busy playing games. They were playing Camel Up, which I learned was not Camel Cup, even though the text makes it look like it could be Camel Cup.
There is contention on that still to this day.
I believe the BGG listing is Camel Up.
I think that there were old versions of the game that actually had the second C, though.
Okay.
I had to take your word on it.
Yeah.
Trust but verify.
Yes. And then after that, we played more Matryoshka, which we played at Max Players, which was interesting. I didn't do very well because someone had the card I needed, and I didn't have any of the cards they needed, so they were just like, you ain't getting this at all. He's like, you should have given me something for it. And I was like, I didn't have anything you fucking wanted.
That's where you try and get something from somebody else so you can give that.
There was, I had attempted, but there was no...
They had better cards for that person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then after that, which I did not do very well. I think I got 3rd or 4th or something like that. And then after that, we played Hanabi at 5 players with a new expansion, which is the Gunpowder, Black Powder expansion.
Yeah.
It adds a new set.
which is weird.
It is weird. It was interesting. So when you give clues, the black powder cards are black, and you can only ever give clues to those cards based on whatever number they are. You can never be like, these are black. You can only give clues based on number. So
it works like the rainbow deck in that regard.
But also, the numbers in that black deck are opposite. There are 3 5s, 2 4s, 2 3s, 2 2s, and 1 1, and you have to play them in reverse order. So you have to play 5 4 3 2 1.
Yeah, where that's really, really obnoxious is because like you said, you can't give a black clue, like just like you can't give a rainbow clue. So if somebody's like, you have 2 5s, it's like, ooh, is one of those the 5 I should actually play now, or is one?
And I had given a clue. Someone was given a clue that was like, you have 2 5s, and then later was given a clue like this card and this card are blue, letting them know that was a blue 5. And then I later gave them a clue that they had 2 5s, knowing that they knew they had 2 5s. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
You're trying to be like, hey, you've got information. Here's a reminder.
You've got a card that's a 5 that I'm not giving you color information about. And then I got flack of like, I already know these are 5s. Why are you giving me clues about 5s? And I was just like, why am I giving you clues about 5s? And unfortunately, it was never like taken. We generally failed that game very quickly.
Yeah, Wes said that went poorly.
Yes, it did go very poorly. I do enjoy the black powder expansion, but like I've been so hanabi'd in one way or another that like it's hard to not play with people that have been hardened Hanabi players, I guess.
Yeah.
It's hard to play that game casually and be like, oh, hey, clues, whatever. I'm just going to play or discard. Or it's like, it hurts. It hurts. It physically hurts.
Very hard to just like randomly play. Like
I know for me, I'm usually okay with it. Other than just being like, okay, there's only one thing that needs to be established. Where are you putting cards and where are you discarding from? Like, as long as, because
everyone was playing with that.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I literally saw somebody put one card in their hand and then the next turn they discarded that card. And it was just like, no, this can't happen again.
Superman, no here.
This isn't Nom. There are rules.
It smells like victory.
I saw in a thread. I think it was on Reddit, a thread where somebody was really upset by anybody who would ever suggest that rule. That like you needed to have a enter and discard from. It's like, no, you can't. That's like table talking out of extra communication, and can't have that.
That's why we do it before the game starts.
Yeah. Wow.
It is now 1-2 Lightning with 5 minutes remaining in the first.
This has been your Colorado Avalanche.
You're going to get some live updates tonight, people.
We'll come back to that during banter.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I think that's nothing game wise. I have plenty of bantery things, but I think that's it that I played for board games. Just kind of swung in and out of Westfax.
Yeah, it's been a low 2 weeks.
Yeah, Casa Bonita's like under heavy construction.
Yeah.
They have like
got all that South Park money.
They have like all the blackout fencing in front of it now, where the fountain and stuff is. So they're working away.
All right,
man. I hope they actually make it something good.
The chef they have there is
very well regarded.
Yes, yeah, I think they're going to do okay.
Which also means it'll just be impossible to ever go there.
Yeah, but you could always hang out at Westfax while you're waiting for Casa Bonita.
Westfax is probably about to get very popular.
I was chit-chatting with their guys about that the previous time we were there, and they were like, they used to get this amount of people, and we would get this amount of people. They're expecting double that, so we're also kind of expecting double that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Decent beer.
Yeah. Anyway, continuing on board game topics. We're not in banter yet. Got to stay on topic, on the track. The train has to stay on the tracks and keep chewing along. Zach, board games you've played?
Well, I wasn't at this past Wednesday's.
Where you didn't get your birthmas presents that are in my car.
Okay.
Do not let me forget the things
that are in your car.
That are in my car.
Oh,
there you go.
All right. Sounds good. So I didn't play anything at game night. this week. I played some stuff last week, but it was like cribbage and then something else, but I can't remember. So obviously it wasn't that important.
Did you win? Cribbage?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I won the cribbage that I played yesterday, so that one was good. Just because that one I just got a lot of really good hands. There's some other game that we're supposed to talk about.
I don't know. I've heard that somebody
I don't know.
might-
Have we talked about Bunny Moose Moose?
Are we talking about Bunny Moose Moose from Cabin Con?
Yeah.
Or was there another game of Bunny Moose Moose?
No. That's a game that I'd only play every year or two.
I'm pretty sure we talked about Bunny Moose Moose from the Cabin Con.
I think
like
it was one of the ones that got
extravaganza.
missed.
Did it get
actually. Yeah, I
missed?
think it did.
I feel like if we continue that train, Mike Jones may murder us. So I
You'd
feel
have
like
to-
we should probably just talk about
I
it.
am legitimately concerned for our safety if somebody does not talk about Bunny Moose.
Yeah.
He'd
Yes.
have to catch us first.
Well, we're just walking, and then in the darkness, we just say, "Hey, listen!"
And you get stabbed in the chest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Bunny Moose Moose is a game from Vlada Shavatal. That's the guy who did like Galaxy Trucker and Mage Knight.
He's one of those that people are convinced he's not a real person
Yeah.
because of the wide
Code
type
names,
of games
yeah,
that he designs.
yeah. So this one is I
He's
would
just
say,
whoever takes up the mantle.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's basically a party game, and in it, you are one person is reading these prompts that are like either 6 or 8 lines long, and while they're doing it, they're flipping cards. The cards have either bunnies on them or mooses on them. Moose on them.
Meese?
Meese on them, and they have the bunnies have ears in 2 different positions. They're either in the back of the head or the front of the head or the side, and they're either straight or they're cocked. Floppy, basically. The moose have horns that are pointing up, horns that are pointing down, and they're either spread wide with like your fingers or they're cupped. And they're going to have either positive points or negative points. And so
And they can be up and down
Yeah.
on either side or back and forth. It's
yeah.
every combination thereof.
Yeah, and so the cards are going to be put out, and then as the person's reading, they put like, say it's the 6 lines, they put 6 cards out, and then they have to do another 6 lines on. And in that one, as soon as the hunter card comes out, then you stop. They say bang or something like that.
I believe it's Scream Bang.
They scream bang.
Yes.
They whisper.
No.
They seductively suggest
Such
bang.
the seductive.
Yeah.
Seductive banging.
But then as soon as that happens, then everybody has to freeze whatever they're doing. And then you count.
I don't believe you've mentioned that it is your hands that are making the
Oh, yeah.
moose and bunny ears on your own head as the game actively goes by with these points.
Yes. And so as these points are coming out, sometimes they'll, like I said, they're positive or negative, but they're going to be covering the other cards. So like say you had like a bunch of positive points for bunny and all of a sudden a negative one comes out covering the positive one. Then you're like, I don't want to get negative points. So then you're switching to like the moose. And so it's a lot of frantic changing while you're trying to figure out what's going to score you the most points. If after the hunter comes out, you have like one moose antler and then one bunny ear, you're a funny looking bush. You don't do anything. But otherwise,
You get nothing.
You get nothing. Otherwise, you get positive or negative points. And you have 2 tokens on this track of cards. One is a bunny token, one is a moose token. And whichever one you score points for moves forward. And then your points are whatever your worst farthest one is.
Okay.
And then after everybody has been the reader twice, whoever has the best, the best
Of their
worst. That's the winner.
Okay. So what stops people from seeing the card that's flipped out and just making whatever's on that card?
No, that's what you're doing.
Oh, okay.
But they're positive and
They're
negative.
positive and negative, and it's the fact that like
So
I'm putting
it's
6 cards.
It's 5 or 6?
It's 6.
Six-
It's based on how many lines the prompt is, because
Yeah.
it can eventually go to 8.
But it won't stop until a hunter comes out. So you can go through the poem multiple times.
If you're Jeff, you can go through it 5 times.
That was nuts.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
But it's all of those cards are getting replaced with other cards. So the thing that you previously was like, oh, this is going to be scoring, all of a sudden it's just like, oh, now it's negative, because sometimes it can be like,
So there's like
positives or negatives.
5 scoring options for everybody.
What do you mean?
So
There's 6 cards.
There's 6 cards,
Oh,
and they can be like, if you have bunny ears, you're worth a point. If you have a bunny ear like this, it's worth 2 points. If you have a bunny ear straight in the back, it's worth -2 points. And if you got the moose, it's this.
And you're trying to get your hands in whatever combination of cards that are out there that are like positive points.
Yes. So you'll have your hand in a way for a little while, but then as the 100 card doesn't come out, it slowly covers your points that you were getting previously, and it brings out new ones that you then have to be like, oh shit, now I need to figure out a new way to do it.
Okay. I don't see how you would ever get caught with an antler and a bunny ear.
That is under poor performance.
Yes.
Only.
Okay.
Yeah. Or you can do it if you don't want to, if you're reading things and you're like, fuck, I don't know how to score this. Like, all of a sudden the bads.
Because there could be more than one of a given like symbol. Like there could be like 2 straight up in the back bunny ears.
Yeah.
And one could be like +1 and the other could be like -3.
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you're trying to figure out, like, is it only the one ear or is it both ears? Or, like, it's, yeah.
Sometimes there's like wild ears. It can be either one because the ear got blown off or something.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I hope you're satiated, Mike Jones.
His bloodlust has been sated.
We just hear a door close.
Outside the studio.
just outside the door. Okay, thanks, bye.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yes, for Bunny Bunny Moose Moose.
Yes. It's 1-2, end of the first.
Okay. Moving on.
Moving on.
Did you have other games you played?
One other, because I'll just let you do the other one.
Okay.
But on Tuesday, because I wasn't going to do game night, V reached out and wanted to play games with me and Mike Jones on after work on Tuesday, and so we went over there and I got to try out the unfinished business expansion of Star Wars Outer Rim.
Okay. How was that?
Jeff, you've played it?
I have never played it.
Neither of you have played it. Awesome.
Correct.
Okay. Well, one problem that I had with the base game is that it says, whoever gets the first to 10 fame wins, and you can do a bunch of different things to get fame, but it's really left up to you as to how to get that fame. So you're just sort of wandering around doing stuff until somebody is just like, all right, I got enough fame, I win. But the expansion, it adds a one of the expansion, or one of the modules that it adds is I forget what it's called, but it's basically a long-term goal of now you don't need just fame to win, you have to do all of these specific things.
Okay.
And so, like Mike Jones had, he normally you have to do like 4 things in order to win. Mike Jones, he had just 3, but like one of them was like you have to have positive reputation in all 4 of the factions, which can be really hard to do. I had to do a lot of I had to do some ship combat. I had to do some encounters out on nav points, so not like basically in space, because I was just trying to become like a space pirate like emperor or something.
Sure.
The old space pirate captain emperor.
Exactly. Yes. But everybody had an actual, like more of an actual goal on what to do now.
Okay.
Which I appreciated. It gave us a lot more cards, the standard Fantasy Flight expansion of twice as many cards.
Okay. Yeah. Like the first Arkham Horror 3rd Edition expansion, which was just, here's more cards.
Exactly the same with Eldritch Horror, with all of those. It's just, now you have enough cards for you to play this continuously instead of just like once or twice and then you're like, I need some more variety. It also added these like favor tokens that you could trade with people to get abilities and things like that. And so then if I was able to get your favorite token, Adrian, then at some point later I could give it back to you, and then I would get to use like 1 or 2 of your things, and you'd have you couldn't stop me basically.
Okay.
So it added a little bit more interactivity there. Some of the jobs required 2 people, which were cool. So it was like one of them was, because normally the job is like you do this encounter and it's like you have to do all of these certain things. And this one, like choosing another person to do the job with you, it was like, well, one person does this and one person does this, and you both want to, even though you're both enemies, you want to work together, because it was like each person gets like 20,000 credits if you succeed at this. So Mike Jones was very incentivized to help me complete this job because he would also be getting 20,000 credits, right? And so it was like on this thing, one person needs to do this test, one person needs to do this. And so we were going together trying to figure out what was going to be the best. So that was interesting. It still, that when you're done with that game, you always feel like it takes a lot longer than you think it was going to at the beginning. It does ramp up, but that first like hour and a half definitely feels like a little slow going. But I still, you're right.
Very different style of IPA. Just a little bit of a clash there.
But it was still enjoyable. Mike Jones ended up winning, and we didn't really try to stop it that much just because.
Mike Jones?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to beat Zach. That's just rude.
It's okay. I let him. It's fine.
Because you wanted it to end?
Well, that one was just like, at that point, it was like 11:30. It's still a game that is not like a game you can play in a game night and then play other games. It's like
Sure.
you still go to play that one.
Okay.
So,
Gotcha.
still haven't played Firefly, so I have no idea how to compare against that. But it is now more enjoyable. But I guess I was sort of hoping it was going to change a little bit more of the game. More like the Civilization A New Dawn expansion, like really changed up how the main game played.
Yeah.
This one, it gave us some direction, which is good, but it still felt like the main game. So, but that is all that I've played that's worth me talking about.
I did not play anything this past Wednesday at what's it called? Because I was not there.
Game night.
Game night?
Yeah, with the brewery.
Westfax?
Westfax. I don't know why that just fled my brain. But yeah, I didn't play anything at Westfax because I wasn't there. I was in Dallas. Going back to the previous Wednesday, though, at Strange, I played Furnace for the first time. We played a 4-player game. And so Furnace is a...
Which we famously played at Gen Con last year for the first time.
Yeah, did you play it there too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah.
And I own it and have played it since.
Okay. Well, I had never played it. And I didn't really remember much about, like, you guys talking about it. You know.
The engine building game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pure engine building.
Yes.
Yeah, cube moving around game, tableau building, running resources.
Yeah.
There's going to be a theme to the two games I talk about tonight.
One I surprisingly like a lot better than the other one. Maybe because it's not I don't know. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
Yes. So it was a good game. I enjoyed it. I liked the bidding mechanism where like sometimes you didn't want to win a card, which would always be frustrating when you're like, oh yeah, I'll play my 2 because someone will beat that, and then they don't. And it's like, well, fuck, I didn't want this. I wanted the resources.
Exactly.
It was bullshit. It broke me though, like hard. Towards the end of the game, like trying to figure out the optimal way to run my engines.
Yes.
So this is something that when I talk about the other game that I like more the way it does this. In Furnace, there's an advanced variant that turns it into kind of a programming game where you choose the order the cards go in and they have to stay in that order. You can't rearrange them. So like you run it left or right. When you get a new card, you can add it anywhere, like so you can spread 2 apart and stick one in the middle. But you always run left to right and you can't rearrange. I think I would like to play that way because it would keep me from spending fucking what felt like 20 minutes at the end of the game when everyone else was done and me trying to be like, this card needs to go, like A needs to go before B needs to go before, or like, you know, but C needs to go before B, but like A needs to go after C, but like shit, fucking, I
feel like every time that I've played it, it's been basically a combination of those two of like anytime the last couple things that you get never really interrupted like the previous ones. It was either stuff that was going before or after it. So maybe that's just me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think some of it also was like how I was trying to optimize things. I also played my faction wrong. a bunch, which
Which
cost
one
me a
were
bunch
you?
of resources. So I was the one where I could spend
You could do it to do a second
to
time.
do a card a second time.
Oh yeah.
And I kept using it to do the starter card multiple times so that I could build multiple cards. Except you can just always build infinite cards with that starter card. Like, so you don't need to redo it for that portion. Like, you might redo it for the other things you get to do, like get a resource and some of that stuff.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I kept rerunning that card for an aspect that I didn't need to rerun that card, so I could have been
So
either
not
saving
only
the
were
resource,
you not doing it, like you were doing it in a spot you didn't have to, but you were spending resources to do that.
yes.
Yeah.
So whereas if I had used it to run a different card again, or just not done it, it would have worked out way better for me. I'm pretty sure I got very last in that game, and then I had to like take a break.
that one is a very powerful ability that, if used incorrectly, will be very bad for you. So yes.
I still think I liked the game, and I would be interested in playing it some more. We also on that Wednesday played a bunch of the crew. I played it with
The Deep.
the Deep. I think it was
We did play more
it
of that.
was
Yeah,
you, me, Paul,
and Eric.
and Eric. And we won some, we lost some. It was the Deep. Some of them were heartbreaking. Some of them were ones where it was like, well, there's just no fucking way this is going to be possible. But it was fun.
I remember at least one of them were like, when I told you this clue, I needed you to do one very specific thing that I couldn't express to you, and you didn't do it.
Yeah.
And then that was just like, well, that was our one chance. That obviously we didn't know that was our one chance, but it was like, that's the only time that we could have done it that way. So
yeah, we had a couple heartbreakers in there, but it was a lot of fun, and we did win some. So I don't remember a lot of the details now 2 weeks later, but whatever. And then this past Sunday, so this weekend was a busy weekend. We'll talk more about most of it in banter. But this past Sunday, Megan and I went over and met up at Paul's new house with Zach and Eric. And Paul, of course, because it's his house. And we played a 5-player game of Sideral Confluence. So Sideral...
He had texted me like the day before and was like, noon at my place on Sunday. And I was like, what the fuck are we playing at noon on Sunday? I don't remember anything. And he was like, Sideral. And I was like, I'm not playing Sideral.
Yeah.
Formula 1 is on.
So we were over at his house on Friday too. Like, and originally I thought it was just the like one little like heavy game chat that I had with like Paul, Eric, Mike Jones, and Chris Evans. And I was like, okay, well, Megan's off, like, so she would like to join. So I thought that was going to be the 5 of us, and we were looking for something like that. But then we're at Paul's house on Friday, and he's like, oh, man, it seems like we're going to have like 8 people. And I was like, wait, I thought we had like 5, maybe 6. Like, who's 7 and 8? He's like, oh, Zach and Jeff. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize they were involved in this. And apparently Jeff didn't realize he was involved in it either.
Correct, yes. I was around while this conversation was happening, but at no point was I like, me, please.
Yes.
I had Canadian Grand Prix to watch.
So we played Sideral. Learning the game took longer than playing the game.
Wow. 4 and 4 or
no, like 2.5, 2.
Jesus Christ.
Nah, I don't think it was that bad.
no.
Because we were gone. We were out of there in 4 hours total.
So I think it was like an hour and a half, and then an hour and a half and 2.5.
Something like
So
that.
yeah.
Learning it was a little rough. I think now that we've played it, we could teach it to a new person much, much, much quicker. Also, now that the game has been punched and organized and things are actually sorted by
What they actually need to be sorted instead of what we thought maybe they should be sorted by.
Okay.
yeah. So Sideral Confluence, for those of you who don't know, it's a game where each player takes on a different species in an intergalactic like space situation, and you're all vying to become
situation.
you're all vying to become the leader of like the new pan-galactic union of like all the
Is that
species
what we were
merging
trying to
or
do?
something. Yeah,
Oh,
that's what we were trying to do.
Okay.
I thought it was just about cubes moving.
It
is.
I mean, that is 100% what it is about. And hexagons.
Oh, there are hexes.
There are
There's
hexes.
one hexagon,
Yeah.
which is an ultra tech.
Ultra kill.
There's also small cardboard circles.
Yep.
Discs, you might call them. Anyway,
You definitely wouldn't call them ships, that's for sure.
well, the game would. And that's actually one of the few things we referred to by what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Everything
there's-
else is like yellow, green, blue,
Is
brown.
there not like a Sideral, like actual like ship upgrade box you can buy for that game or something?
Oh God, why would you?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Something vaguely. tickles my brain.
I know
about
there was a ship
sidereal
upgrade
upgrades.
for
That would be a lot of waste of money.
There was a ship upgrade thing for the other 4X spacey game that's like
Eclipse?
Eclipse.
That one would make sense because ships actually go somewhere
And do things.
Yeah.
So anyway, in this game, you're this race, and so you have you can acquire colony cards, which are just little planets that give you resources. You can upgrade them to give you more resources or different resources. Then you can get research teams that research new technology, and then you have a bunch of the technologies, which are like your main tableau, and those are just matter conversion. They're put in an input of this combination of big and small cubes in this color combination, and spit out a big pile of slightly different big cubes, little cubes in a different color combination.
And it even tells you the value you're putting in is like 3, and the value you're getting out is like 5.5.
Yeah. So they're all mathed out. So you can to give you an idea of which one might be slightly better to run.
Yeah.
Of course, what you want to run might, sometimes you might run a less efficient one because it gives you the resources you actually need to run a different one on your next turn. It is also a trading game. That is one of the phases. So the first phase of each round is trade, where it is simultaneous, just madhouse trading, where you can trade fucking anything. You can trade those colonies. You can trade your own player-specific conversion cards. You can trade the ships. You can trade whatever you want, and the deals are binding. So, like, you can make a deal for a resource you'll get next turn. Like, oh, if you give me this blue, I can use it to run this engine, and then next turn I can give you, like, 3 green. And they have, like, a little chart that shows you, like, 3 small cubes is roughly equal to 2 big cubes, which is roughly equal to 1 of the hex things, which is roughly equal to 1 victory point, which is roughly equal to 3 ships. And it's just like, go do weird conversion bartering, where half the time you're gonna like get frantic to trade something, and you're gonna make a trade and then be like, wait a second, I just let you massively take advantage of me.
No, that was mainly you and Megan, where you kept trading with Megan.
Yeah.
And then realizing, wait, why did I do that?
I also did it with Paul like 3 times.
This game is also basically just cards, right?
Yeah, it's a bunch of cards laying it like in your tableau, and then a bunch of wooden cubes and pieces on top of those cards.
Okay. I'd seen a picture of someone playing it. It was like a Twilight Imperium level of stuff, but just cards.
Yeah. Lots and lots of cards.
Yeah.
When somebody
obviously that had named things that they're like, this one means clinical immortality. Okay, well that just means I turn this cube into this cube, but this other one that's nanotechnology is I turn this cube into this other cube.
Oh, I think I've played that game.
Yeah, lots of turning cubes into cubes. One of the things that I like better in this one is so you're not allowed to use the output of one to run a different one. It's like you're setting them all up and then they all run simultaneously, so you can't get those weird fucking crazy chains that you're trying to make of like, if I run this, then it feeds this, which feeds this, which feeds this, which feeds that. So I liked that. You're just trying to look ahead a turn, and then that whole trading phase allows you to get rid of ones. Like if one of your engine makes a bunch of byproduct that you don't have a use for, you can start looking for a tech to get that will give you a use for it, but in the meantime, you can trade it away to other people. Game plays out over 6 rounds, which go really quick once you start actually playing. It doesn't take that long. And,
the rounds are basically you trading with people, and then you bidding for colonies, bidding for research, and then running your stuff, and then bidding for colonies, bidding for research, and then the next phase happens.
Yeah. So fairly short rounds once everybody kind of catches on what they're doing. All of the races or species are asymmetrical. They all have different abilities and different powers. Like the one I was playing, I couldn't get colonies at all. I could get them, but I couldn't keep them. Like if I had any at the start of the engine phase, they just went away. So I'd always want to try and trade them during the trade phase if I got any.
Mine had this Relic World deck where I could basically run this converter that was just specific to me, and I could get these new cards out. And some of them just gave me victory points. Some of them I could turn victory points into a bunch of resources, or it was like comparing what things I'd given out to other people. So
yeah, I liked it. I tied for second with Eric. There is no tiebreakers. Megan got first. It was a very close game. It was like 38,
34, 34, 33, and 31.
Yeah.
Wow.
So very tight, very close game. I would definitely play it again. I don't think Zach would join for that. He seemed very done.
Honestly, I would like Furnace definitely gives me all of those same things, but is at half the length at least, and it has a more interesting, like, that bidding mechanism I do enjoy, so it adds more to the game than just cubes into other cubes.
Yeah. Maybe I'll re-theme Sideral Confluence and make the bidding have that aspect. Change the way you bid for colonies and tech or something. I don't know. But it was fine. That's it. That's all I played. Oh, actually, it's not true. Megan and I started a Gloomhaven campaign on Steam. That it's like vaguely video game, but also like it's a board game. We're like several missions in. We're really liking it. We got our asses kicked early, but things have kind of smoothed out. She has leveled up twice. I've leveled up once. And yeah, we're enjoying it.
It's a good game.
It is. Probably going to pick up the expansion soon to add more variety to some of the card things and stuff that is in it.
The DLC for the game.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was called. Elements of the Forbidden, or I don't know.
Forbidden Circles or something like that.
Yeah.
And you're playing the actual campaign, right?
And yes, okay. So yeah, Wes in chat, different Wes, wanted to know, does it have the campaign? And it does.
Okay.
Full campaign implementation.
I think the full
digital
campaign implementation was at like 1.0 or something.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
It's been there for a little while. It's really good.
Well, the game has been out for a while now.
Yes, it has.
Yeah.
I have no idea why the dog's being fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Probably something to do with my neighbor who's like ripping out fences and trees and stuff.
Yeah. Forgotten Circles.
There you go.
Thanks, Mike Jones.
All right.
That's what I said.
That's now
No, I said
officially
Forbidden, probably.
for what I've been playing. So now we can move into the banters. Dallas was hot and humid and miserable, but the food was still good. I got to go hang out with Boyd at a brewery that had a really good barbecue food truck that was like kind of Tex-Mex Latin like barbecue style. It was really good. I had a huge like pint tub full of elote that was easily some of the best elote I've ever had.
Nice.
So fucking
Remind
good.
me what exactly elote is.
Elote is like a corn dish. It's like a Mexican Spanish corn dish.
Okay.
It's got like the one I had, like it's like a seasoned corn thing that's cooked up, and then like this one had like a bunch of hot sauce, some brisket, guacamole.
Okay.
It's basically grilled Mexican street corn.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's like two kinds. I think they technically have different names, but like one of them is like a whole cob. Like they'll season it and cover it in all kinds of spices and butters and grill it, and you can just walk around with the cob and eat it.
Yeah.
These ones were like tubs full of like
They basically cut
corn
the
off
corn
the cob. Yeah.
Okay.
Fucking good though.
I'd eat that.
Especially with the brisket in it. Holy shit.
Yeah.
The beer was pretty good at the brewery. We were at Hop and Sting for that one. It was my first time going there. I liked them. They had good beer. They were previous GABF winner. I don't know what it was. I just saw the medal up there. I couldn't make out what medal
There's
it was
one.
for.
It's there.
Don't even know if it was theirs. Maybe they stole it.
That could be.
We don't even show off ours.
You got too many of them. Just rolling in them.
It's a thing. It's a whole thing. We have them all, but they're only in the conference room. No one's in the conference room and can see all our fucking medals except people that are in a conference. So why does it fucking matter if they're there?
For investors. Oh, look, you want?
They don't go to the fucking conference room. They're all on the internets now. But yeah. Anyways.
But yeah, so that was Dallas. It was fine. Flew in Sunday, flew out Friday. It was nice. I've had a very early flight Friday, so I got back in Denver and felt like I basically had the whole fucking day off, which was pretty great. I did something Friday.
We went to Paul's
night. Oh yeah, so we did.
That was when he closed on the house.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I did something else during the day then. I don't know. But yeah, I went to Paul's and then went to a friend's 1 year on testosterone party thing that was cool. They dubbed it the Dudeversary, which I liked.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday I went on a work barbecue thing at Cherry Creek Reservoir, which I'd never been to before. It was nice. It was hot. The beach burned my feet. Jester had a bunch of fun. She got to play in the water. She got to see a bunch of other dogs. She got fed way too much food under the table from all of my coworkers. But that was cool. And then we went to Black Tie Grilled Cheese Volume 6.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
It was more subdued this year.
It was significantly more subdued. It got good once the like competition started. I submitted a really weird cheese that had apricot, white chocolate, and amaretto in the cheese. It actually ended up so I tried the cheese. I bought it randomly on my way to there. I stopped to get a different cheese, a halloumi that I've done in the past as it's a grillable cheese. So you can just throw the cheese on and grill it up and it gets brown and looks great and doesn't melt. And I always do my smug little, I'm the only one actually grilling cheese at this grilled cheese fest.
Which he very much did do. I just want to let you know he did go by.
No, that checks.
Yeah.
I had at Aunt's wedding told them I wasn't going to do that. I was like, don't worry, I won't do that this year. And they were both like, no, that's like a tradition that must be upheld. And I was like, all right, I'll lean into it again. This time I made a bunch and walked around and gave everybody some.
Just
and
remember,
everybody did like it.
If you're doing it ironically, you're still doing it.
But when I went in to get the halloumi on the way over there, I saw this other weird cheese, and it's some kind of British cheese. I don't remember the specific type of cheese, but it had all that stuff in it. And then I tried a little piece of it, and I was like, ooh, I don't know if I like that.
To me, it was like 3 flavors that do not work together at all.
But then I put it on Richard's really expensive Japanese bread with just a little bit of butter.
Yeah, the milk bread, yeah.
And grilled it up, and I thought grilled, it worked out really well. It was like a sweeter flavor with the apricot and the chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, it worked weirdly well. A lot of people liked it. One of the judges ranked me first. I got 4th overall because the other judges, one of them unfairly gave me a very low score for crispiness, even though I had an excellent crispy crust. I did a very good job crisping up the bread and getting it nice and good. Then I got low on melting, but it's not a melty cheese, and I tried to explain that that's a feature, not a bug, but they're stuck in their ways. But I'm on the panel next year, and I'm gonna revolutionize. We're gonna apply more fair grading.
What about if I just give you $10 and then you just give me the best?
Make it 20.
Okay. I don't even make one, and you're just first place goes to Zach.
He gave me $20.
10.
He gets the trophy.
10 for crispy,
Yeah.
10 for cheesy, 10 for je ne sais quoi.
Scale? Is it
It
we
is.
have decimals in there too? 9.3,
I
9.4?
don't think so. I think everybody just does straight points, 1 to 10, and it's cheesiness or meltiness, crispiness, and I don't remember flavor. Maybe was the other one.
I'm all about the 5-star
I got high marks on all of
Scale.
the flavors.
for everything.
5's a good scale.
Do you do 3.5 though, or do you just do
No
3?
half stars.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I don't know. For me,
No
there's
0
a big
stars.
difference. There's a big difference between 60% and 80%.
There is, but that's not how this scale. It's
I understand.
3 out of 5, 4 out of 5.
5
Easy
out of
peasy.
5.
5 out of 5? I don't know. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Anyway,
You can't apply percentages to these, Zach. It will break down into this nightmare cheese scale
Exactly.
you have all going on.
Yeah. There was a new thing that was supposed to that's going to get added next year. So there's going to be 4 categories of rating. I don't remember what the new one is, but
I just go for the brisket
Yeah.
and then hanging out with people. I don't even make a grilled cheese there.
this is the first time I've ever entered the competition, and it was more because, hey, I found this weird cheese. Let's see what fucking happens.
Yeah. And Blake, who was just Nick said he would try whatever I put in front of him, so I'm going to put something in front of him.
And it was the worst thing I've ever tasted. It was so bad. It was so fucking bad.
It was sugar crusted. I know that.
Yeah. Yeah, which fucking fucked up the grill too. So the next person to cook got a bunch of sugar glaze, crystallized, caramelized fucking sugar glaze. Yeah, it was not ideal. And then on Sunday, and then while that was going on, we watched the Avs fucking murder the Tampa Bay Rays?
Nope.
Hurricanes.
Nope.
No. Lightning bolt thing.
Close.
You're close.
I don't know.
Just lightning.
Well, yeah, it's got a lightning bolt.
No, I know, but they're just lightning.
They're just the lightning. Okay.
It is currently 2-3 lightning.
And this is what I was afraid of. I even mentioned that. I was like, I feel like we're going to just really piss them off by crushing them 7-0. And then we're going to have to go play in Tampa the next, in 2 days. And they're going to be pissed. Yeah. I've gotten a little bit of both of the Avs playoff games, and they have both been nice. I went and watched the one while I was in Dallas, the first game of the season. And then Sunday I went to Jazz in the Park after playing. That was my surprise date night for Megan. She took me to Jazz in the Park down in City Park. It was a really good jazz band. Had some food from a food truck called Cirque. That was a steak and frites, steak and fries thing. It was fucking stupid good.
Nice.
So good. And you got to hang out, and the park was definitely very busy. Both I think with a combination of like the city park jazz thing, but also I think there was a lot of people out like celebrating Juneteenth and everything.
That sounds right.
So it was actually a lot of fun. It was really nice getting out and like doing something that wasn't sitting around and playing video games or sitting around and playing board games. But also wasn't like grueling physical activity like hiking up a mountain to go snowboarding or something like that.
Right.
It was nice to just be like, hey, we're going to spend like an afternoon in a park.
There you go.
Boom.
Boom. I saw Lightyear. It was okay.
That's kind of what I figured it'd be.
I enjoyed the first half, but then like the second act started to get a little, and then I wasn't a big fan of the third one.
Fair enough.
Looked real pretty though, and I thought all the voice actors did a good job.
Okay.
But it just near the end it also didn't help that I was very tired when I went in there, and so I was definitely near the end fighting, going off to sleep, and I'm like, I'm not going to be that guy. Yeah, that's all I've really done. I did
Oh.
I bought that Lego Ferrari.
Oh.
Because I was gonna not do it, and then I got a message from my stupid credit card that's like, "Hey, we'll give you 15% back if you go buy this." And I'm like,
What?
For that specific thing?
Yeah, yeah. I was just
What?
like, God damn it! So that's
How can I afford not to buy it?
exactly. It's $60 I'll get back.
Great.
So,
That is fucking wild.
yeah.
I watched a video about a man making a PS5 as small as possible.
The one that was like less than an inch thick.
like 2 centimeters, less than 2 centimeters. Yeah. You put like a water So the box that is the PS5 itself is that small, but it has like major like water cooling stuff behind it. So it is quite large, including all of the cooling stuff that is now external. But the core of it, and he burned out the fucking motherboard on the first go round because he was testing it. It turned on, and then the cooling thing fell over, and it was on his carpet where the intake was, and burned out the PS5 board.
Like instantly, or
yeah,
just like he didn't
like,
realize it turned. It fell over.
like hard locked, and he couldn't do anything to get it back up. So he just there was like a company that sponsored the video that sent like a PS5 with their boards on it to like just have like B-roll footage for it. And he was like, I'm taking the board out of that one now. And disassembled it and put it in there, and then it was fine. But like, yeah, he had like his cooling outboard motor on like this like wicker basket that like he clearly like kept markers and stuff in, but he kept it like face up and not face down, and so it like tipped over and dropped the whole thing straight on the carpet, which just like there was no cooling at all and burned the whole thing out apparently. So yeah, that was probably not ideal for him. I don't know. He just spent like $1,000 on PS5s.
It's fucking crazy
to make a weird copper plated 2 centimeter thin PS5 with an outboard motor of cooling. So it is really not that small, but it does technically run cooler than a regular PS5.
Although it was like the guy who added the fucking, what was it, the massive graphics card to the fucking Steam Deck.
Oh, yeah. he made a dock to dock a video card to the Steam Deck for an external video card.
Yeah.
Yeah. Video cards are becoming available.
I saw that.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Well, it's because crypto has fucking just, the bottom is falling out of it.
And
It's great.
the entire time, everyone was like, crypto's not it's the supply chain. Well, crypto has no reason why you can't buy a video card. And then as soon as crypto drops, the shelves are full of fucking video cards. Weird. I guess the supply must have just picked up right as crypto crashed. How convenient. We went to a wedding, I guess.
We did.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was since the last time we recorded. Went to Aunt's wedding.
It was a wedding.
And Julie's wedding.
And Julie's wedding, yes. And now they're in
The Abethan Peninsula.
yes.
They're in Spain for their
Ibiza.
honeymoon.
Yeah.
Oh,
What did you do?
I forgot which window I was in, and I tried to chat, and it was not the one that signed in. And so it was like, you can't chat without signing in.
And you're like, but I'm already in.
I supplied all the beer for the wedding. Well, they bought all the beer for the wedding that I had supplied them for a decent price. And then I drank gin and tonics all night.
Yep.
Mhm.
Gin and tonics are good.
Simple, easy wedding. Nothing super fancy. Punch in, punch out.
Food was good.
Food, drink,
Food was really solid.
hang out. There was a DJ. He played all the white people dance songs
Yep.
that you would have wanted.
Yep.
Yep.
You didn't have to have a thought in your brain. You just listened to whatever the music said.
Yep.
I really wish they'd have
One
played
step this time.
what was
Yep.
it? The kindergarten song from
Lonely
Lonely Island.
Yeah.
I don't remember that one.
Kindergarten.
Is that
Is
from
what-
their
No,
their pop star?
it was before that one.
No, it was from their most recent album. But
Gotcha.
No,
Yeah.
second most recent album, because technically the Mark McGuire, Jose Canseco album
Yes.
is their
Oh,
most
yeah.
recent album.
Which is fucking amazing.
Yes, it is. Yeah, so it was 2 albums before that one.
Going Kindergarten, I believe, was that
Yeah,
song.
that's Paul Rudd
Okay.
cutting his middle finger off.
I have never seen the video.
Oh, it's funny. You should watch it.
So that was fun. It was a good time.
No,
Everyone drank the beers, which was good.
I did not get as drunk as I thought I was going to. I requested I was flying to Dallas the next morning, and I had requested like, hey, instead of flying out in the morning, can I fly out like in the late afternoon because I'm gonna be fucking hungover, and then I wasn't. I just kind of got full, and it was hot enough that I actually didn't drink a ton.
I
I also stuck with beer.
I just kept pounding gin and tonics. Let's go, man.
I swiped a whole shit ton of the seed bombs that were like party favors
Oh,
that like a bunch of people just left behind. I was like, we'll seed bomb the shit out of our yard with a bunch of like native flowers and shit. We don't give a
yeah.
crap at all. Our yard.
I dropped off the beer as Julie was hand making those.
Yeah. They also had to announce like 2 different times, like, don't eat them. Because apparently, like, at a different wedding somebody was at fairly recently, like, they'd done the same thing. Like, oh, this is like a little native seed bomb.
Yeah.
And then people, like, thought it was, like, I don't know, chocolate with various, like, seeds and nuts that were, like, edible ones. And it's
No.
like,
And they're like,
No,
man, this
in-
tastes like shit.
this
Tastes
tastes
like
And then they
dirt.
keep eating it. Yeah.
Because it is dirt. I got promoted at work.
yeah,
Nice.
with a fairly substantial little pay bump.
10.5% pay bump on
There
that
you go.
one.
Just barely skating ahead of inflation there.
Yeah, at this point,
Yeah.
it's just an inflation raise. But yeah, I can do my boss's job now for the vast majority, which is good because we finally got a new guy that started this last Wednesday. We got a new guy starting like next week or the week after. And then we will finally be at 100%, which is 4 people for our department,
There you go.
which has been at 3 people since the entirety of the time that I have worked at Avery.
About to get more money and do less work. That is the dream.
Fingers crossed, because I sure have been working a lot. My boss was like, do you want to keep your schedule? And I was like, yes, I do want to keep my schedule. Because I've worked there the longest, I get to choose my schedule. And it just goes by tenure, which one you choose from. So I get first choice of all of them.
I mean, you could have gone back to the 2 to 10 or whatever it
Well,
was.
now it's noon to 8. They don't make someone go 2 to 10 anymore.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. It's like, let's just have a warehouse person and just do the entire packaging shift, but not actually have any warehouse duties to do, and just put away all the packaging shit for them. Do that 8 hours a day till 10 p.m. every day. Cool. I guess I'll do that for 6 months.
Pass.
Pass. Yeah. 7 to 3. Thank you.
I think that's about it for me for banter things.
Sure, I've watched a lot of TV.
Yep.
The Obi-Wan, the Ms. Marvel,
Yeah,
the
I've
Boys,
done all of those things.
Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
Haven't
I'm
watched
not
that one.
Mm.
I saw Miss Marvel is like by far the lowest watched of the MCU TV shows,
Which is a bummer.
but it is apparently like way outperforming everything else in the Zoomer demographic, which it's clearly marketed towards. So I'm sure Disney is like, actually, this is exactly what we want. This is
yeah.
ensuring we have the next generation of customers after this generation gets too old to go to the movies anymore.
Yeah.
No, what's wrong is you are never too old to go to the movies. You are so old, all you do is go to the movies. But they don't care about those people.
No, because they're going to go to the movies anyway, because that's all they do.
Yeah.
Got caught up on Orville. as
Good.
Well.
I
That
need
was
to
really
get
great.
Hulu again so I can watch Orville.
The
It is
Orville
good.
is good.
I've heard there's also a really good documentary about like travel and tourism on Hulu right now called like The Last Tourist that is all about like
Wasn't
Hey,
that a
the-
movie with Angelina Jolie and Johnny Depp?
Yes.
it also
Okay.
may have been.
Okay.
It might not be called The Last Tourist. It might be something similar.
Okay.
There's no way to know.
I'm just conflating those things. Obi-Wan is good so far. I'm
It's only one
mostly
episode
enjoying
left.
it.
It's only 6 episodes, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think I'm one episode behind at this point. I don't think I've seen the most recent
I
one.
think there's supposed to be multiple seasons at this point then.
Maybe. We'll
Yeah.
see.
We'll see.
Depends.
The Boys is fucking great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Finally got caught up on that.
I might be one episode behind on that as well now.
So the thing in the comics is they've had superpowers the whole time. Like, as soon as you become part of the Boys crew, they jack you up with V because you can't fight superheroes without superpowers.
Okay.
So the comics, it feels like this season is catching to where the comics started, where they all got jacked up.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And it's like, he was like, hey, you want to join the Boys? They're like, they were sitting on the bench doing the Men in Black kind of like yes, no kind of thing. And he was just like, yes. And he was like, okay, here you go. You're a superhero now. It's like, what'd you do? And he's like, that was $2 billion I just injected you with.
I vaguely want to find the comics.
I've heard not.
They are very different, much darker, much more violent, much more rapey.
And not as nuanced, I would assume.
No.
that was one thing as I did hear.
But that was kind of the point. They were not supposed to be nuanced. They were like, these are superheroes. They are all assholes. The writer, Garth Ennis, was like, all superhero stories are dumb, and then this is why we should destroy all superheroes. That was kind of his vision for the comic.
Gotcha.
And anytime he's written like Marvel stuff with superhero, he did like a good Punisher run where it was a bunch of superheroes trying to like stop the Punisher who had no powers, and they were all just like idiots in like the Boys kind of way where they're like just incompetent buffoons getting in each other's way the whole time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was a heavy size eye.
No, I know. No, I just, some of the shit, and it's just like, it feels like it's just getting too real.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
The Boys subreddit was apparently like, what do you mean Homelander's not like the main character and is like not a cool guy? No, he's been like not the whole time.
I saw one person say like yeah, like Blue Hawk like went a little too far, but he was saying good points, and it was just like,
it's like that's where the crime is.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. That's why I patrol those neighborhoods.
oh god.
Mm-hmm.
I would. God. But then he started like killing people. I don't know about that, but like I think the other points were good though.
Yeah.
Soup lives do matter.
Yep.
God damn it.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a good
Fuck.
note to end on.
Yeah. Let's move on to some
All right,
music
bye.
Kickstarter. Back to board games.
Speaking of movies, the Alamo Draft House has sold their, art wing to Funko. So Mondo is now owned by Funko Pop Peoples.
Yeah.
Mondo was the like cool posters, art, weird little toys wing of
Also
the Alamo.
board games.
Also some board games, none of which are that good, but worth noting that they did make some board games.
Yeah. And apparently, according to like the details that kind of came out through this whole thing, Mondo was what kept Alamo even remotely afloat during the pandemic. Like they still ended up filing for bankruptcy and closing a bunch of locations and restructuring a bunch. But if it wasn't for Mondo, they probably would have shuttered entirely. So
Yes.
And then now they're immediately selling it off. So,
Well, they already went bankrupt and then sold off a bunch of their locations to franchisees,
yes.
including the Denver
Yeah.
ones. So they are technically not owned by the original Alamo people, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Which so far I have not noticed any negatives. from
Anyone
that, but-
I've talked to that says
It was good.
yeah,
that
they much rather work for the franchise company than the original Alamo company.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's that. Mondo, which did like The Thing, is now moved over under, Mondo now owns.
Mondo.
No,
is
Funko
owned,
owns Mondo.
yes.
Those
Yes.
names are too weird. They don't stick in my brain
And then
right.
the Funko had the whole Funko-verse that they had
Funko
that
Pops.
They had that game that came out that everyone was like flipping their fucking shit over.
My brother got me a whole shit ton of Funko Pop, like Harry Potter and Star Wars and something else games that don't look great, but they come with Funko Pop minis. I need to find somewhere to sell those or give them away or something.
Yeah, but they're like mini Funko Pops. They're not like full size.
No,
Funko Pops.
they're not.
Um,
But yeah, so that's that.
Yeah, Funko.
Not much there, but
I mean, Funko's becoming a big board game fucking publisher. That's for sure.
indeed.
Yeah. I'll miss Mondo in the Alamo stuff. They made cool stuff for them, so I don't know what they're going to supplement that with, except you're like, I guess we don't need that anymore.
Or they start something new, or they contract with them still. Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see. Next up.
The name of those stupid drinks when we were kids.
What?
Mike Jones just messaged. Wasn't Mondo.
Is he thinking of the energy drink from Idiocracy? What was that?
That's
That's Brondo.
I had some of that. Oh, those fucking twist top juice things. I remember those.
I don't remember them being
Great
called
drink.
Mondo, but I do remember what they
It was
are.
Mondo, yeah. My dad used one as a spit cup, and it did not end well for me.
Ew.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't make sense for a lot of reasons. Namely,
It's like
the
a tiny
hole in it
hole
is
at
too
the top,
small to
right?
actually spit into.
And yet he found a way.
Life finds a
finds
way.
a way.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's keep this news going. Megan's home. I want to get out
Direwolf
of here.
is going to publish Clank. Clank has been famously published by Renegade Games Studios.
Yeah.
Now Direwolf's just going to be like, nah, we make that now. Of course, Direwolf being a publisher
Yeah.
are just going to do it now.
Yep. So they were partnered with Renegade originally, and then they didn't, they talk in the little press release here about how they had no idea how much board games would come to define Direwolf. Especially as Direwolf Digital does almost every fucking digital edition these days.
I mean, they were known as Direwolf Digital before they were known as Direwolf.
And yeah, they are now going to do all of the Clank stuff.
Yeah, bring it in-house.
No information yet about a new Clank, but I would imagine that will follow shortly after this announcement.
Yeah, maybe a Clank Legacy 2. We still have to finish Clank Legacy.
Also, they do point out all current digital Clank stuff will move to the free Direwolf board Game Room app.
Yes.
That you can get on Steam, App Store, and Google Play.
Which I've used for Dune. They have I have 2 little expansions. Well, they can automate the solo and 2-player decks in
Gotcha.
there. Yeah.
Next up.
Sucks to be Renegade, I guess.
Yeah, I think they'll be all right.
They'll be okay. In this article we have up next from Dicebreaker, there's a fuckload of solo games being made nowadays.
And it really came from this Reddit thread that is what we actually linked to. But somebody did a little bit of analysis, and we'll see if this actually loads the graph. Nope, of course not. Yeah, there it is. A neat little chart of the growth of different types of games.
And I think it's the most popular game of that year.
Is what the image is, but the overall graph is just the number of games that have that as the minimum player count, I think. So 2 or more players has dominated for forever.
I do see 2 players
and then
Small World in there. But how many 2-player games are good at 2 players?
Well, I mean, that's the same thing with solo. There's a lot of shitty solo variants out there. But that is becoming increasingly popular, especially during the pandemic, people wanting to do a little bit of solo gaming as they've been isolated from their gaming groups. And so the market has responded a little bit. Although you can see in the graph that a big part of that is less that 1-player games have surpassed, and more that the number of games published has also just plummeted so far in 2021.
Which, COVID.
Yeah, kind of fucked everything.
Yeah. No one can get shit shipped or made.
Yep.
There has been better solo versions. I think Stonemaier kind of really had the biggest push for the Automa stuff. Feels like they kind of coined that term, even
which
though
is now used fucking everywhere.
Yes, I think it was used beforehand, but definitely everyone got Automud Scythe really with the Automa on that one. I remember playing Automa at Factotum just to kind of when we were going to review it, be like, yeah, I'm just playing the solo at the game night.
Just to see.
I got there really early to do it, but I had been in the middle of the game and people were thinking I was just setting up, and I was like, no, I'm actually just playing by myself. I need to put this away before.
Yeah, so go away. I gotta play my solo game.
That takes up most of the table space.
Get fucked.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's that news. And last up,
crowdfunding is coming to Backerkit. Not only Are you just going to use Backerkit to back Pledge Manager mint?
Pledge Manager.
The Pledge Manager is now going to host crowdfunding.
Yeah.
Because why not?
So this was a pretty big announcement for them. So they're basically moving on into the crowdfunding ring. And they've got a bunch of information here about like some of like how they're going to run things and stuff, and a bunch of props from like people who've ran like fulfillment and things through Backerkit. But then they are announcing that they are hosting the next campaigns from a shit ton of major like people. So Cephalofair.
That logo does not look familiar to me.
I've never seen that
Yeah.
logo. Restoration Games, Leader Games, Greater Than Games. I think those were some of the main ones that Whirligig. Yeah. But like a shit ton of other ones. Deepwater Games. I worked with them at Origins once. XYZ
I worked with Fantasy Flight and Z-Man.
So yeah, tons and tons of games. Game companies are already like going to run their next crowdfunding through Backerkit instead of even bothering with Kickstarter or
because GameFound has a built-in one.
Yeah, because
right?
they were a pledge manager to begin with too.
Yep.
And just like the Netflix going into Hulu and all those other ones, they're like, we can do it. We can do better than they can.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this actually works out in the long run.
Yeah.
There's no way to know.
No way to know.
Time will let us know.
In 2 years, we'll be like, there's 30 different crowdfunding websites. How can you track any of them?
Yay.
Yep. Maybe a solar flare will take us all out. So
speaking of crowdfunding, let's move on to Kickstarters.
Speaking of For All Mankind, also another show that's on streaming right now. Kickstarters, crowdfunding, but they're both Kickstarters. Septima. This one is very well funded, $525,000 of its $73,000 goal. Just about 6,900 backers. Less than a week left to pledge this one, which you can for about $80.
Yep. So this is the latest game from Mindclash, who did Tricarian and Anachrony and some of those games. In this one, you are witches trying to build different covens and ultimately become like the head witch of all the witches. So it's
Grand Witch,
something like that.
Is it witch spelled with two V's?
It is not.
Okay.
Son of a bitch.
1 to 4 players, about 20 to 30 minutes a player, is what they are saying there. Basically, most of the game is card driven. You're going to play through 4 seasons, each of them 5 rounds. Where you're going to gather ingredients, brew potions, perform rituals, heal people, and otherwise work in the shadows to kind of like reduce suspicion and anger of the local populace, so there's not witch hunts.
2-6 lightning. Not go great.
No, that is bad.
Yeah.
So there's the main card play of each round is planning your actions, and you can choose to kind of do your own thing, or you can partner up with other players. Like there are actions that will work well if you both play the same action. You can kind of link them and get a better effect. But that also increases suspicion, because like a lone witch off in her cabin doing things isn't as noticeable, but once all the witches start hanging out together and casting spells, then people are like, wait a second.
We got to burn some of these.
We got to burn someone.
Do you think the cards will actually animate and do a little handshake?
I don't think they will.
No, okay.
Well, I'm disappointed now.
Yeah.
Maybe on the Tabletopia version,
yeah.
they will. I don't know. Then there is a whole trial mechanism where, like, eventually townsfolk get suspicious and they'll, put someone on trial for being a witch, and you can manipulate those trials and save the people being accused, and that allows you to get new witches into your coven. It also lets you steal witches from other players, because the people might get suspicious of the other group, take one of their witches to trial, you save her at the trial, and she's like, oh, well, you're clearly the better witches, like, you saved me from this trial, so I'm going to join you now, thus helping you. And then another little mechanic, whatever, that they highlight here is you can change into your animal form. So when people start getting too suspicious, you can change into your animal form and do a smaller subset of actions that are usually not as good, although one of them is better, they say. But every turn that you are your animal, suspicion against you goes down, because, the crazy lady we thought was a witch is gone and there's just a fox in her house, and that's cool.
Nothing crazy about that.
No, that seems normal.
That's just a law-abiding, house-owning fox.
Yeah, lady with a fox to guard
Yep.
it while she's gone.
Yep.
Notoriously great guard dogs, foxes.
That's what I've heard.
There's a solo variant, as we were just talking about the rise of solo play,
Yarp.
where you are competing against the Black Widow. It is designed by David Turksey, who I feel like designs a shit ton of solo stuff. I feel like I see his name all the time
It seems
in
like there's
connection
just,
with designing solo things.
yeah, it seems like there's just solo designers now.
So, that is the core thing of how to play the game. A bunch of ridiculous components, like
Everything's nice. I
Yeah.
like the art. I like the meeples.
Standard Mind Clash.
I'm a big fan of meeples, wooden meeples, over the continuing, like, we're going to make plastic 3D printed components.
yeah, I don't love that.
That's kind of like what a lot of those, like, Meeple Source and, like, upgrade companies are just like, man, we're just going to 3D print stuff now. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to buy it now.
Or injection mold a bunch of plastic, like
Yeah.
cheap plastic shit. Yeah,
I like the screen printed meeples.
Yeah, screen
That's my
printed
way.
wood
That's my
is-
favorite.
especially when they're like the custom shapes that are cool and unique and fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, lots of cards and tokens and things like that.
Fuckload, some would say.
Uh-huh.
That's why it's $79.
Indeed. And game trays, of course, because everything
Sorry, Y trays?
from game trays.
Yes. I don't know why they call them like Y trays now. It seems like Merchants of the Dark Road, was that game trays specifically?
I think so.
Reckoneers or whatever was also like
Reckoners?
Reckoneers. The old Reckoneers. Man, some game tray stuff is hit or miss, it feels like.
Yeah, I think it's mostly good, but
yeah.
and you can upgrade for €15, $16 to metal wisdom tokens. So there you go. That's pretty much everything for Septima. Septima? I don't know. Something like that. No way to know.
I also learned that the owner lady from Ted Lasso was the Bell lady in Game of Thrones. the
Yes,
other
she
day.
was.
The Shame,
Septum.
the Shame,
Yeah, shame.
the Shame Bell lady. That's the like owner lady from Ted Lasso.
Yes, it is. Blowing your mind right here.
Yeah,
What the fuck?
yeah.
Sounds like
I
you
just
need to
heard
go on a walk
I
of
heard
shame.
Septima, and that's the like one thing that shot to the front of my brain. And I was like, oh yeah, I learned that's the same person.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, same actress. She's the Shame Bell lady.
Shame Bell Lady. Oh, last up on Kickstarter. Next up, last up.
Next up, last up, we have Skyrise. Very well funded, $278,000 of its $38,000 goal. About 4,000 backers. Less than a week left to pledge this one for $74.
Indeed. So Skyrise is a auction area control game where you are different fancy architects building steampunk castles in the sky, or fancy buildings, if not castles. 2 to 4 players, and basically you are going around and bidding in consecutive areas on the board by placing your buildings upside down to show like their bid value, along with a potential token that has a hidden bid, or hidden modifier, I should say. Whoever has the win of it, they get to place their building, and they get the little token that's in the area where they place their building. And the different faction discs, you get a place in, those come off of those areas. That's what comes off the area. It sits down in your little tray and increases your favor with the different factions in the game. The philosophers, naturalists, artists, and inventors. Different factions, it increases the prestige value of your structures that are in those neighborhoods at the end of the game. There's also these patron discs, which are like the hidden modifiers for points at the end of the game, that depending on who you have influence and favor with, you can get different points. And that's kind of a hidden information bluffing game where you get to look at them and see which ones are which and maybe move them around. It looks like they shuffle a bit in the graphic, but it's kind of hard to tell. It's played out over 2 eras. In the second era, you can build your wonder. Your wonder is an auto win in the bidding thing. So it's a free one to be like, oh, this is now mine. And then they all look cool. And that's basically the game. There's objective cards that score at the end of the game, as well as like some of those other point modifiers, and whoever has like control of districts, things like that. That's pretty much the game. Little auctiony biddy area control-y Stoof.
It does have a non-fancy edition if you don't want to spend that much, which is nice.
Yeah. Bunch of information about the different art style, like architecture styles and art styles behind the people who are apparently based off of real people. You can read their little blurbs on the Kickstarter. But yeah, getting down here, the basic version is just all cardboard stuff. It's a basic cardboard board and little wooden meeple things like Jeff was talking about.
The meeples, I would say, look better than the other buildings.
Certainly probably more functional.
Yeah.
They're not going to like dominate the board quite as much. But they are very much all the same, especially the buildings. The buildings, you lose that like feeling like they have a unique art style, I think, a little bit.
Yeah.
Color.
Yeah, but I mean, like, they don't, like, the architecture styles, like, the one character is, like, you know, Gothic Revival, and the other one's, like, Futurist and Postmodern and shit like that.
What was that weird auction block game that you made us play after Southern, that one, Geekway?
I always forget the name.
Oh, shit. I don't remember. I remember, but I don't.
I'm always sad because no one will ever give that another
The
chance.
Estates.
The Estates, yes. But what if all the Estates blocks were all plastic minis instead of meeples?
Well, it wouldn't work because the Estates blocks, you actually stack the blocks one on top of the other.
That's why the other one's like way better.
You don't stack these on top of each
Doesn't
other.
matter.
The fancy version does have the different miniatures.
And it had and different the unique boards are now raised.
Yeah, the board is now 3D printed, like raised crazy board. If you get the deluxe
Sky Islands.
Yeah. It's got a special colored vacuum tray insert. And then they've unlocked some other stuff like alternate towers for the tall ones, things like that. Additionally, for add-ons for this one, you can get all of your minis and things pre-washed for about $18 US. And you can upgrade all of the cardboard tokens to fancy wooden tokens, which that I think actually looks fucking great.
Yeah.
Those wooden tokens look real nice.
$10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I backed it. I'll see if I'll continue it, but I did back it at the. I do like how the minis look more than the wooden ones.
Yeah, I could easily see them. Like, it doesn't look too bad on some of the graphics up higher in it, but I could see how they could kind of clutter up the board and make some of that a little bit of a pain. But I'd be willing to give it a shot if you end up getting it. And that's it for news and Kickstarters.
That's it.
I don't think we have any listener feedback.
Correct.
We did get an email about a partnership for development projects in India that I'm sure is totally legit.
Mm-hmm.
They're really looking for 3 random board game podcasters to do development projects in India.
Yes.
That's what I was looking to do, so this works out great.
There you go. Yeah, I don't see anything there. And just to make sure nothing got stuck in the spam. Nope, doesn't look like it. Boom, 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 boom. All right.
We're like 6 weeks to Gen Con.
Yep.
Yeah, moving right along.
Still gotta buy I gotta buy my airplane ticket at some point.
Yeah, I was just looking at those yesterday as well.
And for whatever reason, being like, maybe if I look today, it'll be cheaper.
Yeah.
Nope. Damn it.
Even flying into Chicago versus Indianapolis, it's about the same.
Yeah, which is annoying.
Yes.
That is frustrating. If you want to get a hold of us, there's a bunch of different ways to do so. You can send us an email.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com.
You can find us over on Twitter, where I tweet under at MHGameGuys.
I'm Zach_MHGG.
Jeff_MHGG.
We have Facebook.com/MHGameGuys as an option to check out Facebook.
Can people listen on there anymore? Or
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think that has now been ended. Facebook's run of doing podcast hosting was short and not sweet.
Come and gone. BGG Guild 2731.
Yep.
They are on there.
They are on there.
Yeah.
Yep. And then wherever you listen to your podcast normally, on whatever app you use,
They're on all of them.
there should hopefully be show notes, which include links to the news and Kickstarter items that we talk about, as well as links to things like our Slack channel, which is an excellent way to come hang out and get involved, especially if you want to do something like come to Cabin Con, which Fall Cabin Con is tentatively still up in the air. I don't think dates have been finalized.
No, I don't think the date's been finalized. I think the date was originally when we had like a Saturday event because we were going to go to that Theater of the Mind thing with the Talking Heads guy, Anthony Byrne.
Yeah.
Or not Anthony Byrne. David Byrne.
Megan might be somewhere on the Colorado Trail. She took one look at the date that I had been like, this is the tentative dates, which was also that, so it's not going to stick.
Yeah.
She was like, I will probably still be hiking the Colorado Trail, so I will not be attending. It's like, okay, well, if you're on the Colorado Trail, it's happening. I'll definitely try and go for at least a few days. We'll see. So
the Slack channels where you can find out on all those things.
Yep. And that's going to pretty much wrap up the episode. Thanks to everybody who still supports us over on our Patreon, patreon.com/milehighgameguys.
Woo.
We still have some people who help keep the lights on around here, even though those lights are slowly baking us in the summer heat.
Yes.
It is quite warm in here.
Yep.
Someone upped their pledge to $25 recently too.
82 in the studio currently. I believe that was the good
Matt?
Wes here in chat.
Yeah.
As payment for the GiveWell sponsorships that we did.
Oh, nice.
Back then that we never gave updated payment information to.
Woo.
Huzzah.
We're wild cards.
I was not going to point your fingers or anything, but can't see. Well, Adrian's technically that way. It looks like I'm pointing at Zach, but it's actually.
Yeah. Oh, here. I don't want to look like I'm pointing at Jeff.
I don't know where Adrian's camera. Oh, there it is. There it is. Right there. That's it.
There it is.
Gee, thanks.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
But yeah, thank you to everybody who still supports the show. We do really appreciate it. And that's going to be the episode. So thanks everybody for tuning in. As always, I've been your host, Adrian.
I'm still Zach.
And I'm Neon White, still really, really fucking good, Jeff.
Boy.
Bye.
Bye.